You're tuned in to a Grown Folks production. In the mix with the Nate.
What just happened? Did y'all see that? On my end, it started lagging and glitching, and I have no clue what just happened. I have had the weirdest technical issues in the last, I don't know, 40 hours, 48 hours. It has been nuts. But welcome to Press Pass Live before that weird introduction situation just happened. What up, Daniel? Good to see you. It has been a long weekend. We had a 4-year-old toddler around, and so there wasn't a ton of streaming. Got to play very little video games, and even my NCAA CPU games, I didn't stream them outside of just streaming from the PlayStation. But the OMFL playoffs are upon us, and they are rocking and rolling. The machines are taking over, Maniac. It has been a nutso day, and I just noticed on this end, this vertical situation is not showing the way it should, and I know exactly why, because I had it on the wrong thing, but it is all fixed now. It's been a crazy day, y'all. It is definitely Monday. It's been a lot. Well, listen, Dakota, you work with what you got. I was born near Houston, so I'm an Astros fan. It's good to see you, my brother. What up, Randy? Look at the chat blowing up. Good to see all the OMFL guys. Let's dig into it. The playoffs are rocking and rolling. We are to championship weekend. We got Jets and Kobe versus the Chargers and Trey. We got the Cowboys and Wayne versus Cincyberg and the Falcons. It's going to be some good matchups no matter how this plays out. But how did we get here? Let's go ahead and cover some of that right now. In the wild card weekend, we had Dwayne and his Cowboys beating Meek and the Seattle Seahawks 31-24. They held off. The Dallas Cowboys held off Seattle with a fourth quarter comeback here. 17 points there in the fourth quarter. Thankfully, though, they got off to that hot 14-7 lead in the first quarter. Dallas did turn the ball over twice, but Meek gave it right back 3 other times. This is a pretty even matchup, but you can see Dwayne doing what he does. Running the ball with 216 yards, stopping the run 92 yards on the ground, and Meek was forced to pass the ball a lot. It only led to 197 passing yards and the 3 turnovers. That's going to be big time. Let's look at a couple of player stats here. Faber, 180 yards and 1 touchdown. Milroe, 201 yards, 2 interceptions, but the 1 touchdown. Looking at the running, this is just crazy. McMullen, 11 attempts, only 11, 112 yards. His backup, Javonte Williams, 16 carries, but 73 yards. Mr. McMullen is a Mr. Do-It-All. He does returns. I'm pretty sure he could play defense if we wanted him to. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He can do it everywhere, and it's never a good thing when the third leading rusher in the game and the number 1 leading rusher on your team is your quarterback. It's probably not going to be a good day running the ball. CeeDee Lamb with 5 receptions, only 64 yards. No receivers kind of blowing it up today. And then looking at the defense, this is where both teams really shine. Jones leading the Seattle Seahawks with 16 total tackles, 8 solo, 8 assists on the day. Your tackles for loss leader is also going to be Jones. Then your sack leader, DeMarcus Lawrence, Parsons, and I'm not even going to try it, but Devon also got in there. And then 2 interceptions by Darren Blond, cornerback coming over the edge there, making a lot of plays for Dallas, and they move on to the divisional round. The Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons matched up for the 3rd time this season. That's never easy to do. This game right here, y'all, if you missed this game, hopefully this gets uploaded as a OMFL Instant Classic game. This game was epic. The last 4 minutes of this game were pretty amazing. You can see all of the points. This was a 10-10 game coming out of halftime, and we finished 41-38. Just a crazy game on both sides of the ball here. Atlanta squeaking out a crazy win, but you got to go back And watch this, 205 rushing yards for the Atlanta Falcons, 321 passing yards for the Carolina Panthers. Both teams turned the ball over twice. Couple of fourth down conversions on that last drive for Atlanta to keep them alive, end up getting the game-winning touchdown. But man, Panthers didn't just walk away. They had that last play of the game that almost worked. Look at these crazy stats here. 309 passing yards for both of these guys. 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for Penix. 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for Young. 77% completion percentage there for Mr. Penix. He continues to play really amazing football, and he's going to need it as they got their team in the OMFL NFC Championship game. Robinson, 18 for 175, 1 touchdown, 3 broken tackles. Hubbard, 14 for 105 and 1 touchdown with 1 broken tackle. McMillan, 5 for 122. London, 5 for 110. The 2 slower receivers on both of these teams getting it done. It's crazy to see, where's he at? Lowry here, 5 for 20. What a great job from the Carolina Panthers keeping him in check. And then looking at the defense here, 14 total tackles for Mr. Wallace, 7 solo, 7 assists. Your tackles for loss leader is going to be Wallace, Walker, and Anderson, each with 3. Your sack leader, Walker, Anderson, Pierce, and Anyamata each had half of 1. Then your interceptions here, Staley, Horn, Morrig, and Terrell Jr., all these guys getting their hands on the ball. What a great game. This was a super cool game. You got to go back and see this one. Hopefully those guys get that submitted for the OMFL Classic Vault. Going over to the New York Giants and the Chicago Bears. New York and Mr. Beal's going to beat Colin 34-14. This was a dominant performance that was very well balanced. You can see the 109 rushing yards, 231 passing yards, only 9 first downs, which means big play was leading to touchdowns. Those early scores, some defensive turnovers led to a big day. 4 turnovers for the New York Giants defense. They swarm you, they get after you, they attack you, and they cause you to put the ball in harm's way, which leads to points for this offense. Beal only had the ball for 16 minutes, but still came away with a dominant victory. 240 passing yards for Mr. Dart, 3 touchdowns on the day. He was 10 for 12. That's a pretty good day. Aaron Rodgers stepping in for the injured Caleb Williams. Look at that photo. What a photo of Mr. Rodgers. 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Rodgers was not able to get it done. Only 60% completion percentage on the day. Etienne Jr., 5 rushes for 78 yards and a touchdown. Etienne, 16 for 16 yards and a touchdown. That's going to be a pretty tough day there. Neighbors, 4 for 127 and 2 touchdowns. Etienne, 2 for 86 and a touchdown. And then finally, looking at your defensive leaders, Simpkins is going to be your tackle leader. Bobby Enrique and a whole bunch of other guys with 3 tackles for loss. Carter, Jones each had a sack plus. And then your interception leaders, Enrique, that guy is an underrated player here in the OMFL. Earl Haywood, what a great photo there. And Mr. McFadden each had an interception. And Beal and his Giants move on. That set up the Rams, the Falcons, the Cowboys, and the Giants. We'll come back more to that later. Let's get over to the AFC wild card here. We have the Jets and the Baltimore Ravens. Kobe's going to beat Nipples 31-20. This one was the opposite of some of these NFC games that we were watching. This was a defensive matchup in the second half of this one. Usually we'll see an offensive game explode in the second half as both teams start to figure it out, start to get on a roll. This one went the other way. 14-7 out of the first quarter, 24-14 lead in the half, and then we only had a combined 13 points scored in the second half. 135 rushing yards for the Jets, 262 passing yards for the Ravens, 21 first downs to 18 first downs, no turnovers in this game, even with the defensive matchup there in the second half, and a 23-20 time of possession. Looking at some team stats, Fields, 3 touchdowns on the day, 66% completion percentage. He outdueled Jackson, who did have a few more rushing or passing yards, but was sacked twice, no touchdowns on the day. only 56% completion percentage. Mayberry, 15 for 77. Henry, 11 for 58. So the running game in this one was pretty tough on both sides. Wilson, though, 6 for 189. Copeland, 5 for 96. The two superstar wide receivers getting it done for their teams respectively. Your tackle leader is going to be Gardner and Sherwood. Your tackle for loss leader is going to be Sherwood and Green. And then your sack leader is going to be Childress and Green. Each shared a sack there. Then your interception leaders, none, because nobody threw an interception, which goes a long way in a really, really great game. This I didn't get to watch in live time, but this looks like this would also be a really great instant classic game because of the defense that was played there in the second half. Randy and his Colts beat Massimo and the Dolphins 28-14, and this was a pickup of the momentum that Randy had before the baby, and he picked that right back up and got going here. 3 turnovers to 4. Miami turned the ball over 4 times. The third down percentage also really heavily leaned towards the Indianapolis Colts. They finished the day with 110 rushing yards, Dolphins 242, very similar to this last game that we just looked at. You can see Richardson, 62% completion percentage. He was sacked once in the day. He did throw 2 interceptions, but the 2 touchdowns would barely outduel Mr. Bowenko, who passed for 260, the 1 touchdown, but the 4 interceptions, and he was sacked 4 times, so they harassed him really well with that Colts defense. Giddens, 6 for 49. Taylor, 9 for 45. Not really a ton of running game there. If you combine what the Colts did, though, pretty good day on the ground. Pittman, 6 for 97. McCool, 8 for 91. So the Colts receivers making some plays for their quarterback, Richardson. Your tackle for leader is going to be Brooks with 9 and Harris with 9. Tackle for loss leader is going to be Brooks and Brown. Your sack leaders, Brown, Phillips, Stewart, a whole bunch here. Buckner, Latu, Brooks. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wait. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm looking for tackle for loss leader. My bad. I had a stroke there for just a second. Brown, Phillips, Stewart, Buckner, Latu, all with some sacks on the day. And look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 interceptions on the day between both teams combined. Massimo, a great season, but Randy's moving on to the divisional round. Not going to talk about the Chargers game. This ended up being a CPU game because our buddy Pepper got in a car accident. He hasn't answered me for 2 days, so I hope he's feeling okay. It looked like it was a pretty tough car accident. He figured he was going to be hurting. I hope he has turned the corner and doing all right. He just joined us, so I think it all ended up working out OMFL-wise. I just want to make sure Mr. Pepper is doing good physically. That's going to set up the Denver Bengals and the number 1 seed team against Trey and the Chargers, Kobe and the Jets versus Randy and the Colts. Got to watch a little bit of that one last night. But before we start unpacking some of the divisional round on both sides, let's turn it over to Mr. Maniac and Dream Bean.
Howdy there, y'all. Have you ever had trouble staying fresh in your Madden game? Has your FPR really stunk it up? Do you reek from sweaty gameplay? If you answered yes to any of these, we can help. We are proud to tell you about a great new product. We call it Dream Bean. Yes, that's right. Dream Bean works hard to get rid of stale Madden gameplay. Penetrates deep into the pores to reach those stubborn, hard-to-reach FPR issues. Turn that Madden reek into Madden chic with Dream Bean. State-of-the-art design that gets the job done. We use all natural ingredients to create the best smelling, cleaning FPR product on the market today. So don't delay. Call now and get yourself Dream Bean clean. Operators are standing by. Call 1-888-FPR-CLEAN. Call now.
Appreciate Maniac and the Dream Bean product. If you need some cleaning up of that dirty FPR, make sure you give him a call. Let's look at the New York Jets and Kobe beating Randy and the Colts. I got to peek in on this game a couple of different times. This one was nuts. I had it muted because I had family and friends over. But Randy, I could see your face. What up, Zoe? What up, Birdman? Good to talk to you last night, Birdman. We miss you, brother. And I could see that this one, this was a tough one, especially for a team that usually plays really, really great defense, man. This one got away, and I couldn't even put my finger on why. If you look at the stats, passing yards, 318 is going to go to the Colts, but the running game, 202 running yards, which is a really high number this season for the New York Jets. 15 first downs to 23 first downs, 6 third down conversions to 4. It was the 3 big turnovers that ended up haunting the Colts. And Randy, the few times we've seen you not make your run all the way, it has been because of those pesky turnovers. Looking at some stats here, Richardson, a great day outside of the 2 turnovers. Now, completion percentage pretty low, 52%, a lot of drops. I know that was frustrating him. 5 touchdowns, though, 2 interceptions. Field, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, but only 159 passing yards and 46% completion percentage. Running the ball, Fields 4 for 96. I can't lie. That would absolutely drive me insane. He gave up the long of 49. Mayberry 14 for 90. Taylor 14 for 87. But Richardson did his part too. Then both those guys ran the ball really well. 5 for 84. I would have broke both of my controllers if I was either one of you. McCool 8 for 131. Warren 3 for 84. He had some really big ones there late in that game. Downs 3 and 4 more receptions. And looking at some defense, kind of felt him on both sides of the ball here. Williams, 9 tackles on the day. The tackle for loss leader is also going to be Williams. Had a big day coming off of that wheel position. Sacks, Buckner, Williams, and Brown. And then your interception leaders, Marshall and Gardner for the Jets, each of them making plays on the outside. The only 2 turnovers from the Colts ended up being big ones, even in a game where 50 points were set up in this one. That's just a tough one. Both of those guys usually play really outstanding defense. So it was surprising to see such a big score explode there. Randy says, couple unlucky plays on my end and 2 stupid interceptions. Kobe was the better player. I'll get back, 2 pass happy. Yeah, it was a really good game to be able to watch. Mr. Denbrew and his number 1 seed Cincinnati Bengals fell to Trey and the upstart Chargers 48-30. Even though the Bengals played really consistent football, it was the third quarter that ended up getting them here. Chargers scoring 20 points there in the third quarter. Again, a lot like the last game that we looked at. 3 turnovers in this game. It's the turnovers that always seem to come back and haunt everyone. 185 rushing yards for the Bengals, 351 passing yards for the Chargers, 6 third down conversions to 5, and then the 3 big interceptions on the day for the Bengals. Looking at some stats here, Herbert played really outstanding. 351 passing yards, 4 touchdowns on the day, a 77% clip there. Burrow only 57%. He was sacked 4 times, 1 touchdown, the 3 interceptions. Mr. Joey B struggled today. Brown on the ground, 10 for 158, a long of 76. Brown was doing his part to continue to keep the playoffs rolling. Hampton, 15 for 77. Looking at your reception leaders, Quentin Johnson out of TCU, 6 for 122 and 1 touchdown. Chase, 7 for 104. And then finally, your defensive leaders here, a couple guys with 9 tackles, Dukes and Turner. Your tackle for loss leader is going to be Clowney, still getting it done there. 1.5 sacks also for Clown. Ooh, we'll try that again. For Clowney, 1 sack for Tooley, 1 sack for Tart, and then a half a sack later there. Dukes with 2 interceptions, Molden with an interception as well. And the Chargers sneak away from Cincinnati and the number 1 seed Bengals with a victory to set up the AFC matchup between Kobe and the Jets at home, hosting Trey and the Chargers in the AFC. And I don't think there could be more ego and bravado in the AFC Championship than these 2 guys. These guys have confidence. They have confidence in their game, their play calling. That should be a really, really fun game to watch. Let's look over here at the NFC. We're going to start with the other game first. The Chicago, what is wrong with me? The Dallas Cowboys and Dwayne beat Bill and the New York Giants, who had an outstanding season. That defense was loaded, but that offense needed help. Bill was able to put a lot of good pieces together for a really outstanding season. He just ran up against a really good team. And anytime you're trying to play Dwayne 3 times in a season and get a victory in the playoffs, well, good luck to anybody that's doing that. The Giants fall 32-14 with an outstanding fourth quarter there for Dallas, scoring 10 points and only allowing 7 points in this whole second half. 111 rushing yards, 233 passing yards. He also led in first downs with 16 first downs, 3 big-time turnovers there for the Dallas Cowboys defense. Let's look at a couple stats here. Faber, 245 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 2 times. He can't hardly give up any sacks there to the New York Giants. They swarm you from every way. Dart, the rookie, struggled today. Only 63%, which is higher than some of these other games that we've seen. The 2 big interceptions and only 170 passing yards. That Dallas Cowboy defense was just swarming these ball carriers and receivers. Etienne, 9 for 67, but kudos to the New York Giants running defense. You can see they did combine a pretty decent job holding them right at 100 yards. Williams with 11 for 57, McMullen 12 for 47, and no touchdowns combined between those guys. Pickens, 3 for 69 and a touchdown. Neighbors, 3 for 62. Defense was the story of this game on both sides of the ball. Bunch of tackles leaders tied there with 7. Couple guys here for tackles for loss, but Lawrence is going to be your leading guy there. Your sack leader is going to be Haywood. Not even going to try Osa's last name. Parsons, and then your interceptions are going to be Clark and Hooker. That Clark one hurts because you're trying to attack the middle of the field, and Dallas does that so well. He's able to take those away. And Dwayne moves on to the NFC Championship game. And another shocker here, we got the Rams and D-Money falling is the word I'm looking for there. What up, Connor? Falling to, I don't know why, Connor pops in and posts the same thing over and over and over, and then he deuces out. So is what it is. D-Money and the Rams fall to Cincyberg and these Atlanta Falcons 46-43. I didn't get to see this one. I had a busy Saturday, but this one looked like a back-to-back OMFL Instant Classic game here. 210 rushing yards for the Falcons, 308 passing yards for the Falcons. Anytime you can lead in both of those categories against D-Money, you're doing something right. 24 first downs for the Rams, 20 for the Falcons. So both offenses were really rolling, and the 2 turnovers each from both of these teams. Penix, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception on the day. He was sacked twice, but still finished the game with 80% completion percentage. Man, Penix is playing the best football of his season right now. Stafford, 265, 2-2. 65% completion percentage. He did stay upright, but there was some pressure in his face all day long. Kyron Williams, 18 for 132, followed by Bijan Robinson, 15 for 122. Both of those guys, man, were making big plays after big plays. You can see we got along a 29, 67, 41, 21. The running game was really rolling for both of these teams, probably because they expected that pass game to be rolling. Looking at the reception leaders here, you got Pitts, 7 for 207, London, 6 for 74. Lowry, another game held in check here, 4 for 14. He did have a touchdown on the day. Jarius Tyson, this guy's dangerous. We seen what he did last Madden. He's picking it up here, 9 for 138 and 2 touchdowns on the day. Excuse me. Look at A.J. Terrell, 15 tackles on the day to lead the game. And then looking at your tackles for loss leader, Ellis and Verse, each with 3. Your sack leaders, Verse and Young, and then your interception leaders, Scruggs, Spates, and Jordan. Cam Jordan still getting it done. That's a sick picture that Cam's got here. And the Atlanta Falcons shocked the number 1 seeded, I almost said St. Louis. I don't know why. Los Angeles Rams and D-Money to move into the NFC Championship. We got Dallas and the Falcons. We got the Jets and the Chargers. We're going to come back and break down a couple of those here in just a second. But first, tossing it to our buddy Trey and the Bull Medical Facility.
Turf toe make you miss a kick, pulled hamstring snuff out your tush push, or emotional trauma from a drop pass costing you an OMFL bowl? Here at the Bull Medical Facility, we treat real injuries, the ones you think you got while playing beer league football. Whether you strained your eyes looking for your speed wide receiver, or a muscle cramp slamming on those hit sticks, or even the rare case of chokitis like me, we've got you covered. Bull Medical Facility. Pro care for your not so pro pain. Just ask for Dr. Vikes, MD.
I got to admit, that is one of my favorite ones that we have. He did a really good job with that, man. AFC, NFC championship. This is going to be some really great games. I don't know when they're scheduled, but I think they're scheduled here pretty soon. I'm sure the chat will tell me exactly when things are taking place. I'd love to call these. I don't know that life is going to allow me to. I haven't had a ton of time to stream lately, and when I have, I've just been burnt out, and I haven't wanted to turn the stupid camera on. But I promise you, we're going to get back to it. This is my favorite time. These playoffs just went really fast, and I've just been really busy. So tomorrow night, both of them tomorrow night. So cool. So I might be able to call those if the wife lets me out. We got Dallas and the Falcons. I actually, when I look at the playoffs as a whole, I don't know what to call, because none of this has been the way I thought it would be. When you look at a couple of these games, got super defensive. A couple of these games got super offensive. Not quite how I would have called them. Not quite how I thought we would have gotten here. But the Jets overall play a super balanced game, and they're going to face a red-hot trade team who really leans on his skilled playmakers. He leans on the running backs to make plays, the receivers, the quarterback. It's going to be a matchup between two teams that I think play similar, but the Jets have the ability that they could sort of play whatever sort of game is playing out. You want to go defensive, he'll stack the box, he'll send the blitz, he'll knock the ball out, he'll get after your quarterback, he'll cause turnovers. You want to pass it and air raid it, he'll spread you out 3, 4, 5 wide. He'll shotgun you. He'll get the ball to his playmakers and make plays. Trey, on the other hand, I think can, like a lot of us, tend to get pass happy. He plays his best football whenever he's super balanced. When he is really, really balanced, he's a pain to know, because now the play action works off of that. Now he can get the ball out to his playmakers. He's picking up first downs. He's gaining confidence. To me, it's going to be which quarterback plays better here, Herbert or Fields, which is a real life joke, but that's where we are in the OMFL. Fields has, both of these guys I would expect have the added ability to run and pick up a first down. We know that turnovers go a long way. Sacks go a long way. It's going to be which defensive line can get after the quarterback. And to be honest, with both of these rosters, I don't know which way this is going to play out. I don't know if this is going to be an offensive game, a balanced game, a defensive game. We're just going to have to wait and see what the weather's like. That could go a long way. If we get a snow game, this thing could take a whole nother turn about which team can establish the run. Neither team have been really, really awesome at that. They've had spurts, they've had moments, and at times they've been able to establish the run. But I think both guys like to establish the run, and then off of that, play action to the big-time playmakers. It's going to be a great game. I'm calling Jets to win this one just because they're playing at home. I think they're playing red-hot football. They're gaining a lot of confidence, hanging a 50-burger on Randy. But you could also make the argument that Trey just beat the number 1 seed Bengals, and Denbrew, who we know is just a staple here in the AFC playoffs, and he's coming off of that with a big-time victory, an 18-point victory there against Cincinnati at home. So he's not going to be a stranger. Trey's going to have that, like, road dog mentality. I'm on the road. We're huddling together. We're going after it. We're going to go make plays, and it's going to be great. Looking over to the NFC, we've got Dallas and the Falcons. Undeniable. It's already been said in the chat. Another one of these 5, 6, 7 seeds that get on a hot run. I don't know that Cincy is a classic 6 seed. He was a double-digit win team. Barely, I think they ended up tied or like one game, a half game behind Bird for the division lead. one of the best 16 seed teams we've ever seen, a multiple-time champion in the OMFL. He's not your classic, like, Nate 6 seed run, like that one time I did it. This guy's a staple, and he's got his team playing really good football. I think what made him so dangerous against the Rams was the use of Pitts. Really opened Pitts up. Pitts opened up the defense. The surprise to me has been Lowry, because in the playoffs, Lowry has really been held in check. And when I played him, he spammed the hell out of that wide receiver. He had 10 catches in the first half. I was so frustrated. I was like, bro, you're not even trying to get the ball to anybody else. But yet in the playoffs here, Lowry has been held in check. The run game is going to be a big question. Dallas is going to stop the run. They're going to establish the run. Can that pass game of Penix, who's playing the best football of his entire offense or entire season, can he continue to stay red hot against a Dallas defense that just shut down Dart, held him under 200 yards, picked him off twice, harassed him, had pressure in his face? Can that continue? So that's going to be the big question. Penix, Pitts, Lowry. I personally don't see London having a big day against this Dallas Cowboys defense. I know for sure. I have seen it. The Falcons like to get the ball to the perimeter. That plays into his favor because Dallas, who's in the chat, he's my buddy. He likes to shut down the middle of the field. He's going to take everything away with that middle linebacker, and that defensive line is going to get after you. My head says pick the Atlanta Falcons because of how hot he is. I just think he doesn't match up well, and both of these teams are hot on the opposite sides. Really great defense there from Dallas. Really, really fun, explosive offense from the Falcons. I'm calling Dallas. He's at home. I think the defense is going to just play to win here into the playoffs. And we're going to have a Dallas and Dwayne versus Kobe and the Jets matchup in OMFL Bowl number 116. How do you think it's going to play out? I want to know in the comments, even if you're watching this after it's live. Come talk with me. Tell me. That comments, that engagement helps us out a ton. I want to know what you think. What's going to happen in the OMFL playoffs for 116? I don't know why my kid is yelling at my wife. I guess my wife just got home. But it is going to be a really, really great one. And what an amazing end to season 116. This is telling a great story, man. What's in front of you right now is the story of what season 115 or 116 has been. It's been the story of like really explosive offense, playmaking defense, drops, getting used to the weather, a tough run game. It's been all over the field. I can't wait to see how this one is going to play out as we come to the very end. All right, another little commercial. This time we're going to turn it over to Bird and Jukes Jerky Sauce. I don't think I'm ever saying that right. And then when we come back, we're going to unpack the OMFL mailbag.
Does your halfback feel like he is stuck in the mud? No matter which direction you go or what button you push, you just can't seem to shake that pesky defender. Well, don't you worry. I've got just the thing for you. It's Birdman's Jukes Jerky Sauce. Yep, you heard that right. Just a dab will have you juking like the Birdman, and those pesky defenders will fall away. Get the sauce today before your rival buys it first. And remember, when your back can't juke, we'll sauce it up for you.
Sauce up your back there for Mr. Berg. Go get your Jukes Jerky Sauce today. Nice Hunger says with the regular season of the way that worded, Randy, I had a hard time reading that one. I don't know why. My brain just shut down. With the regular season of 116 in the books, what owners do you think have improved the most so far this season? That's an interesting question. I don't think that there have been all that many surprises. I think the bigger surprises don't feel like surprises because of the owners. Let's get over here and look really quick at just sort of the overall rankings here, NFL standings. I mean, Denbrew, Dwayne, D-Money, Kobe, Bill, used to be Logan. That would have been a bit of a surprise. I don't think this is a surprise because it's Kobe, but with this roster, that's amazing. He went 13-4 with a Pee-wee football team. Like, he just picked the right imports. He has the right play calling. They're playing, he's got some playmakers over there. That's impressive. Again, Bill, not a surprise, but impressive because he also has a roster that didn't really do a whole lot to help him. It's got some playmakers, don't get me wrong. I mean, they've got some real-time playmakers there. Logan with that roster, really awesome. Chargers, Trey, Bird, and the Panthers, not a great roster. I think Madden-wise, Cincy Bird and the Falcons, that matches up where I think you guys all called it. Twinkie and the Eagles, probably the lowest hanging fruit to go 10 wins. That's impressive from Twinkie. I still don't think Twinkie knows our rules or knows how we work or even knows how to open up Discord. But, man, he has started to figure out how to play with the Philadelphia Eagles. Nicesonger and the Jaguars, they got really red hot there at the end of his season. Randy had that team starting to click. And, man, he just needed another win or two to get 9 wins there. Really, really impressive. J-Bow's bouncing back with a solid season, 9-8. Byron, his first season back at 8-9. These are impressive seasons. The Cardinals don't have a great roster yet. Maniac still got 7 wins out of them. I don't think any of these other teams we can really talk about. So I think there's a couple of good teams in there that we could talk about, and but none of them are super surprising to me. Trey says, given the 116 seasons of the OMFL football, have you ever seen 2 teams go winless in the same season? I read this last night as I was thinking about the show, and I think the honest answer is no. It's really hard to go winless in the OMFL, even with all of the competition that we have. We have less 0-win teams than we do guys with multiple championships. We have way more guys with multiple championships, back-to-back championships, and we only have a ton of them than we do 0-win teams through a whole season. To have 2 is pretty rare. To be fair, though, poor Crazy had to step back because of his illness. That played a role in this, and Jay Glaze missed over half the season, I think, because of work. So this was sort of an abnormal way of getting to 2 0-win teams, but still, I don't think that this has probably ever happened in the OMFL. Trey also said, what's each team's biggest need this offseason in order to prevent them from going on a 34-game regular losing streak? Oh, you mean the 2 teams? That's going to be really hard, Trey. I was very confused. I think I read this correctly, though. You mean both teams not losing all next season. Again, weird situations. Jay Glaze just needs to be around. I think he should be. He's going to win more than 0 games this year. He's got a great roster. They're young. They're athletic. He just wasn't around, and when he was, probably wasn't super engaged. He's going to play better defense. He's going to get that thing rolling. And the 49ers have a brand new owner. Who is the 49ers? Where did we land? Zoe. It's Zoe, right? I think Zoe landed there. He's going to have the number 1 pick. Hopefully he doesn't trade that away to a quarterback needy team. Please, Zoe, I got you a team. Do me a solid, brother. Let me get a quarterback, please, at number 3. I'm the 3rd worst team here. I need a quarterback. Don't give that thing away. And so Zoe's going to turn things around. So neither one of these teams are going to be 0-win teams. I would say and you guys are going to make fun of me, but I really don't care. There's only one team I think that could go 0 for next year, and that would be me, and I don't think that'll happen. I'm going to have the worst roster. I'm clearly going to be one of the worst coaches. I'm not going to go 0 for. Every now and then I get a lucky game, and I'll pick up a win here and there that I don't deserve. Dwayne gave me a little question here. He says, where do you allocate your cap in building your team? Cheap quarterback and a bunch of weapons, expensive quarterback makes everyone better, or spend the cap on an elite defense? It's a great question. And my honest truth is I don't care. I don't know that I've got one way that I prefer over the other. Please, God, don't do that. Well, if he does trade with you, you've already got 2 quarterbacks, but I know you, Maniac. You'll do something crazy and draft a 3rd quarterback. Who knows with you? You're a madman. I would say, Wayne, I don't know that I care. I don't have one way that I prefer of the other. And watching you, I've seen you do it all multiple different kinds of ways. I think where I would like to put my money is, if I had to pick from those options, it would have to be defense. It would be linebackers, defensive line, cornerbacks, any combination of those. If I had to pick, I'd go D-line, cornerback, linebacker in that order. if I had to do my top 5 positions that I'd spend my money, I would go defensive line, cornerback, offensive line, quarterback. I really don't believe in paying receivers. I just don't, unless they're like superb. So I'd go linebacker next. That would be my top 5. Because I don't. That's funny, Randy. There's a blast from the past. So Parker Colt. And I've done it the other way, where I had Hal and Anthony. I paid them both, and it was worth it. I know I didn't win a ton of games, but that last season I finally got things rolling. And I think I got things rolling because I found me a center that made the whole offensive line play well, and that offensive line played better. I've also had seasons where I invested in the defensive line, and they played well. So I think there's a variety of different ways, which I love about the OMFLs. Everyone has an opportunity to do it just a little bit differently, and it's like what fits your style. The 2 positions I have the hardest time paying for, safety or linebacker, and I say that from who you user. I think anybody that you user, I'm not going to pay a lot of money for that unless it's just like an exceptional player. For me, it's safety, so I'm not going to go pay a big time safety. For a lot of guys, it's linebacker. I'm not going to go pay for a big time linebacker if I'm using that linebacker. Cornerback, I'm going to pay that. I want them to shut it down. Defensive line, I want them to get after the quarter. I'm going to pay for that. Also, receivers, the other position I don't want to pay. I just feel like you can pick up a receiver from anybody, and it's going to be fine. Is he fast? Can he run routes? Now, in this Madden, lots of drops, so you need to make sure you can catch the football. But I think either way, that's going to be the way to go to build the team. All right, one more commercial, and then we'll break it down, and then I'm getting out of here and hanging out with my wife. Let's go over to Miguel and Miguel Law Firm for when your nips get in a twist. Call Miguel.
¿Estás dolido por Madden? Oh, pues llama 4444. Es Miguel. Te ayudaré a mejorar tu vida. No Madden, no McDonald's, McFlurry. Adiós, amigo. 444-4444. Llama, te puedo ayudar.
When your nips has been twisted, please call Miguel.
No hablamos inglés.
The horns at the end get me every single time. Where did he get an air horn to blow? I have no clue, but Miguel is one of a kind, and that's why we love him here in the OMFL. There's a variety of different ways that we could probably take this thing to talk about, but the honest truth is that, like, we're just in a good place, man. I'm keeping an eye on sliders and stats. I know the running game is hard, but honestly, defense is so hard in this league. We just seen a 43 to 50 game in the playoffs. Like, something has to be hard. We can't make everything super easy. I'd love to tighten up the pass defense a little bit to make passing a bit harder, but again, we've seen, I think the points are coming from turnovers, and that's always going to be a thing. So I think we're going to leave them alone and not really touch them all that much. I think the good mixture of speed is right there at 50. I might slow it down a hair, 51, but if I do that, then it leads to less sacks, and we didn't have a lot of sacks. I think that's what we're missing is sacks. So I think we're in a really good place. Going to leave it alone. Hopefully, I'll keep an eye on it every couple of weeks and see if there's some small tweaks. But I feel like overall, we're in a really good space. And my favorite part's coming up is the offseason, just because I got money and I get to hit the reset button and I get to draft a quarterback, I hope. But overall, it's just the funnest time. A lot of guys usually engage with me. I know I've been doing Press Pass Live alone for the last couple of weeks. It really just became a people management issue. The team kept growing and growing, and everybody wanted to be on the show. And I just spent most of my time people managing, and I just got burned out. So doing it alone, I can just do it. I don't have to people manage. So hopefully the guys will come join me for the draft show. Hopefully they don't all dislike me and they'll come hang out. Or hopefully Big Herd will start doing his show again. I love doing 2 shows at the same time. It just gave you 2 different options to kind of look like. But the draft shows are a ton of fun. Hopefully I'll get to call some of these games. Maniac or any of the guys around, I'll reach out to them to see if they want to come and they want to help me call these games. I think it could be a lot of fun being able to call them and just overall just enjoying the game. There's a lot of shooters coming out. It's just a good time to be enjoying grown folks as a community, enjoying all the relationships. NHL, you guys always have a big group in there every single night. I know you guys are enjoying that game. We had 6 or 7 guys in the shooter game last night. Playoffs are here. Draft is coming. All the fun stuff. So keep enjoying everything that is happening and come plug in, man. Let me know what you think about the sliders. Let me know what you think about the settings. They're different. They're a little abnormal from what we've used in the past, but I think they're like all in a pretty good spot. But I want your feedback. I want you to tell me what you think. Going to open up the rules probably here tonight and start getting some suggestions so we're not doing that late into the postseason, and then making sure that everybody's reminded about the FPR when we get into the offseason so you guys don't make those big mistakes like too much penalty or using contracts you can't use or all those other things. So, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank you for letting me do a quick show. Sorry I couldn't get to it yesterday. It was just a crazy day for me, but a good day. Wife's home. She's cooking. I can smell the hamburgers in the air. I'm going to go eat. I will be back tonight. I'm playing Kevin and maybe play some shooters if we don't go too late. So come hang out with me tonight. All right. I love you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of those around you. Peace. I'll see you tomorrow.
Smash that like and subscribe.